Cheers, guys. Epix 911 in Vanishing Realms. If you're looking for a really good RoomVR experience, look no further than this game. It's a little bit on the short side. If you grabbed it on a sale, haven't played it yet, or you even paid full price for it, know that it's episodic. More content is coming. But what this game does so very well is use HTC Vive's RoomVR in just awesome, awesome ways. And it's not about liking RPGs, right? RPGs can be a genre you're not normally interested in. In virtual reality, it's all about the experience. Sure, it's an RPG. We're getting money to upgrade weapons and skills based on experience, but within the RoomVR model that the devs have crafted for this game. And that's what makes this game so awesome and so unique for RoomVR experience. It uses a teleportation system which quickly becomes very intuitive. Even RoomVR for just like an average sized room. When I use the man cave in its full configuration, right? It's large. Right now I'm using about half of that, which is 3 by 3 meters, right? So 9 by 9 feet, which is almost exactly, whoops, drop the torch, exactly the size of a hallway in here. The devs really had their thumb on the pulse of how the RoomVR experience would play out in this game. So just an average sized room, right? You can lay it out in such a way that, yes, you're using a teleportation system, but you can go from one side of the hall to the other, right? Think about what you can do. This is a simple hall. Imagine if this was an adventure game. One of the things that killed adventure games was that they got stale. They became pixel hunts, right? Click in the screen, 100 clicks to find the magic spot. VR could revitalize the adventure game genre because it's going to have you working within an environment, not just clicking. You actually have to participate in the environment. And Vanishing Realms does a really good job of showing you the potential of that. I'm not going to spoil anything. I'm going to take this game just to its first fight because it's going to show you some really, really cool mechanics. Even the inventory system, right? I grabbed a key, I'm reaching down to my waist area to put the key in a pouch. That's just so intuitive. And it's the same way with some games having the backpack system, right? You can see the rays of light coming out this window. The sense of presence is just amazing. It feels like there's a world beyond that window, and I'm really here. And that is such an intimate part of what makes VR so special to me, is the feeling of true immersion. Granted, hopping over the damn wire sticking out of my head breaks it somewhat, right? But you get the point. It's amazing. So again, I'm just going to take it a bit further. I want to show you some mechanics. Hey, bud. Oh. Oh, scary guy. All right. Let's get our key. All right. Not going to spoil this, guys, too much. If you don't really want to pay too much attention here, that's fine. There's a sequence of things that I'm going to do to open up this area, but really it's right at the beginning. So let's start. And collect these things. Now we are right at the boundary, which is why it was kicking me out of the game world to the pause menu. got 2 feathers. All right. And again, I hit the boundary. There we go. So let's stay in the middle. This is where I like to create a nice big RoomVR experience. So when I talked about being able to go from one side of the hall to the other, that's great. But one side of the hall to the other and a good stretch of the hallway is even better. You can actually do walking. Because that would be my one complaint with the movement system. The teleportation works, right? But it's definitely got its limitations. And that would be one of them, right? When you pair it with something like RoomVR, you really get that sense that it's kind of artificial, right? Which is what I love about Solace Project, and we'll take a look at that shortly. All right, here we go. Now what I'm going to show you guys next is a little bit of combat. Let's back up. So you can see, for you guys watching this, it looks a little disjointed, right? You're seeing me popping about everywhere. All right. Here's another thing I love, guys, and just before we go outside, look at this. When I look up in this room, right? You guys see me nerding it up looking at my ceiling. What do I see? I see a finely hewn chamber rising almost 3 stories into the air, right? The sense of presence that this place was actually created by someone, sometime, is just so powerful. And that, again, is what makes VR so awesome. I almost get the feeling like I could look up and go, echo! Echo! There's no echo. My brain expects there to be. And again, you guys see me nerding it up, shouting at the ceiling, probably convincing my wife I've lost my mind. But that's how cool the VR experience is and how fully immersive in a game like Vanishing Realms. So here we are outside, guys. And even outside, it's got that slight World of Warcraft look. And I kind of like that. What I mean by that is it's a bit cartoony. But that kind of look ages so well, right? It's got staying power. When you try to make your graphics too realistic, 10 years from now, it really starts to show the age of an engine because things have progressed so much. Whereas that cartoon or cel-shaded look still looks great. You can look at a game like Zelda Wind Waker, for example. It still looks good, even not in high def, even just in regular 480p, right? Compare it with some of the older games and the polygons really start looking dated, like EverQuest. So, check this out, guys. And do I have enough money? I do. So let's get the better sword. So what I'm going to show you guys just next is the combat system. This is the last thing I'm going to get ultra nerdy about, because I want you to think about something. It doesn't matter what 2D game you've played or, 3D on a 2D monitor. Whether it's polygon based or sprite based, a traditional 2D game, when you attack with the character in the game, you're going to see a sword animation. How many frames of animation are there, right? A few, dozens, maybe even hundreds. But there's a limited moveset you can do in a polygon game, 3D game, probably more, but it's still limited. Within virtual reality, I can move this sword in complex arcs and ways that no game developer would be able to accommodate and program fully, right? The potential for combat in virtual reality is another reason why this game really shines, because even though within this game, the combat's kind of cheesy, right? It's easy to cheese it by just kind of standing there and swinging it. It lets you see the potential of what VR fighting and combat will become. just as you can have these complicated attack patterns, think about it. In programming terms, they're called boundary boxes, target or hit boxes. And what that means is there's a region on a creature or enemy where a weapon or a projectile, it hits it, it crosses into its territory, it registers as a hit, right? Think about it within virtual reality, how finely tuned you could make that system. You could make a combat system like a sword game where you could lop people's arms off at varying points, right? Truly sever a head or a toe or a finger. Combat can be just that awesome. So when you see me with this skeleton, nerding it up here, keep that in mind. It's cheesy now, but think about what it will become. All right, buddy, let's go. So just the feeling of blocking is so realistic. Got him. And the money. All right, guys, I'm not going to spoil much more for this game. I'm going to see you guys on the flip side.